My next hardest extreme demon is gonna be Ethereal Artifice. This is gonna be my next hardest. Ethereal Artifice. This was a mega collab project hosted by Zeroya and more. This level was verified by Minecrafted over 6 years ago now, and it also received a pretty big update in Update 2.2, adding a good few quality of life changes. This would be the next big challenge I decided I would take on right after beating Blade of Justice, which, speaking of, let's talk about that for a second. Blade of Justice was something I really wanted to do a video on. However, unfortunate things happened in the process of making it. Due to some issues I was having, I had to factory reset my PC, and truthfully, I made a lot of mistakes because I did it in mostly a fit of rage. Due to this, I forgot to keep the direct footage on all the streams of Blade of Justice, along with all the progress I'd already made on the video. I may upload the video of me completing it by itself before I release this video publicly, but sadly there will not be any huge, long-winded speech about the level. Which, honestly, is really unfortunate. There was so much passion behind playing it and finishing it. I adored that level start to finish. But let's get back to what we were talking about before. My experience with Ethereal Artifice. So, Ethereal Artifice. Oh boy, do I have some stuff to talk about with this level. First, let's just talk about why I even picked this level in the first place. From what I can tell, this isn't even a very well-known extreme. Matter of fact, I never even heard of this stream before my friend, Beeple, suggested it. Beeple was somebody I met while streaming Blade of Justice, and they were there for the completion of that level. Then, they eventually suggested that I play Ethereal Artifice as a new hardest, and I added it to a self-created list of mine before deciding to select it there myself. So big thanks to him, go check him out on his channel on screen now. Now, why did I actually pick it out? Well, honestly, it's because I knew it was time for a true challenge. For context, at the time I picked this level, and I'm recording this, Ethereal Artifice is over 150 spots above Blade of Justice on the all-rated Extreme Demons list, with Ethereal Artifice currently resting at 466, and Blade of Justice at 622. So this was going to be a big deal, because it would prove that I could do whatever I wanted in this game, if I put my mind to it. From the very moment I saw the verification video of Ethereal Artifice for the first time, I was bewildered by the gameplay, mostly in terms of speed. As a GD player, I sort of figured out what my best general skill set was at the time, and that was decently slow timings, with some 3x speed being quite an enjoyable concept to me, but always struggling with anything with a super high amount of inputs, and most of all, speed. At the time of picking up this level, the idea of a fast-paced level shook me to my core. I am, truthfully, pretty horrible at fast gameplay, and I knew this. And I also knew that I had to do it. Also, this level is just freaking awesome, and the song encapsulates the amazing energy of the level absolutely perfectly. My actual journey with this level began, funny enough, on Christmas Day of 2025. In the same stream, I had beaten a level called Sweater Weather. Yeah! A really well-made, low-end extreme that honestly deserves way more attention than it currently has, but I digress. I would then go on to talk about the fact that I was doing a new hardest next, and after talking non-stop for the next 15 minutes, I revealed it to would be Ethereal Artifice, as can be seen in the clip at the start. And after that, I decided to go do a practice run of the level, just to get an idea of what I was getting into. How did that go? Well, yeah, I saw immediately heading into this that it was going to be a very massive struggle to get literally anywhere in this level. But the level was fun, and I was trying it. And it seemed really cool, so I was very excited to get started. I played off stream on Christmas and the day after, just learning everything about it. Quickly figuring out the ending, getting a quick 78 to 100 run, and learning most of the rest of the level. Except for one small thing but I'm gonna get into that later. Either way, on stream 1 of Ethereal Artifice, I didn't do that well, but I did get an okay run of 21%. This is the point that I was really strapping in for the long haul. I absolutely knew during the stream that this was going to take forever, but I was prepared to get through it no matter what it took. And so I did just that. I kept on playing and playing off stream a decent amount, learning everything and becoming more proficient as I went, scoring another new run of 70 to 100%, which contained one of the biggest choke points in the entire level. And let me show you exactly why. At 74%, it tosses you into a 3 times speed cube section, where you have to control your nerves and be extremely cautious with your jumps, transition into a ship and straighten out your flying, and then the evil transition happens. A 4 times mini wave section. Not only is this wave extremely fast, the amount of clicks you have to do is ridiculous at the very start. Once you get to the first click, you have to do 2 separate, extremely fast double clicks to get through the tight wave corridors, and then immediately get ready to transition back into a normal size wave and hit a really precise timing to make sure you get through a set of spikes coming up. Then, to top it all off, do 2 extremely short but precise clicks to get through, just to instantly have a timing thrown at you right after, which will also jump scare you if you fail. So yeah, this part was kind of terrifying, but more on that. I started up stream 2 with a new motivation. I was here to get things done today. When I began, I knew it was time to start working on the later parts of the level, so I started stream by playing all the sections bit by bit for a full 30 minutes, getting a decent run of 45 to 89, which brings me to my next point. The one thing I was terrified about learning, 45 to 53%. This part, oh boy, it's a doozy at first. This part is a full 3 times speed cube section where the clicks per second of the level is genuinely carried. I won't go into extreme detail about it like I did with the wave, but just know this was by far one of the hardest parts of the level for me to learn. But lucky for me, it got extremely consistent once you keep playing for a while. And it feels great once it does. Stream 2 trekked on, and once I finally started playing from 0, I pretty quickly got to 28%, dying at a somewhat weird ship part that honestly still was killing me every now and then later on. It was just so weird. But anyways, I was pretty happy about this. But suddenly, very soon after, I went on to get 30% too. This gave me a ton of motivation as I was finally starting to make some progress, even if I had died to an extremely easy click, to be honest. I will say, the beginning of the level was already starting to make me a little bit annoyed, as the gameplay can get frustrating pretty quickly, but that's what happens when you play an extreme that's not only a decent jump, but also way out of your comfort zone, I suppose. However, over 2 hours in, I finally got another new best of 39%. A pretty nice run, getting through some decently difficult sections and dying right at the beginning of the wave at 40%. Now at this point, I was already pretty hyped about the level. Things were going amazingly, and I felt dang good about my progress, and I knew it was only a matter of time until I started banging out new bests, but I also knew I had to be patient about it. My goal for this level was actually to have it done by the end of February, which clearly got blown out of the water, but more on that later. Later on, off stream, I finally got the run I had been looking for, 45 to 100%, having the level down to 3 runs now. But man, I so desperately just wanted that run connector. I just wanted to get that level down to 2 runs. And finally, I actually got past 39. I finally had my opportunity at the wave and I died at 42%. Well, not everything can be perfect, I guess, but I tried my best. But man, that chance at getting the level down to 2 runs was just irking at my soul deep down so badly. I knew I needed to do it. But it wasn't going to be that day, so I just decided to end the stream, wrapping up stream number 3 at the level. But before I could even bother starting stream 4, on New Year's Eve, I actually did end up getting it down to 2 runs by getting a genuinely magical run of 36 to 100%, something I was truly not expecting to happen. When I said I wanted to get the level down to 2 runs, this had not been what I had in mind at all, but you know what? This was proof of a lot of progress. 36 to 100 was a majority of the difficulty of the level, so maybe this was a sign I would be able to beat it within just a few days. Either way, I decided to get on it and start with stream 4, where I finally got through that evil wave and I just kept going. I finally hit 45%, and then by some miracle, I blew right through the hardest part for me to learn and hit a new best of 52% on New Year's Eve. Yet somehow, that wasn't even it for the day. I kept grinding, somehow dying 52 again, but many hours in, I got my new best of 57%, which is at a significant wave to a point in the level, but nothing too substantial. This was a beautiful sight at this point. I had only been grinding this level for about 5 days at this point, and I was already just crushing it. I mean, at this point, literally nothing could stop me. I was so motivated. Yeah, sometimes motivation bursts are actually hurtful for you, though. Remember how I said all that stuff happened around New Year's Eve? I did manage to get another new best pretty shortly after off camera of 59%, nothing crazy, but after that point, 5 whole days would go by without me touching a new best again. Multiple streams passing with literally no progress, causing a ton of frustration, which led to a loop of not being able to do well that much, and even winding up with multiple more deaths at the wave at 57. Yeah, remember how I said motivation boosts aren't always the best thing? This shows it. That motivation caused me to get really upset. And of course, a horrible mentality causes people to play much worse, and I found myself stuck with a horrible case of mind block. Now, what is mind block? Mind block is honestly something that shows up in a lot of different aspects of your life. When there's this wall in front of you that you just can't seem to get through, when realistically, by every point of logic, you should be able to. But something in your brain just seems to block you off of it. To fix mind block, it most of the time works as simple as this. Take a break from the game or level or whatever you're doing for a day or so. Do something new, just enjoy life, and then come back and try and hit it with a new mindset, which normally I'd do exactly that. But the thing with me was, my motivation was still really high, so I just refused to give in. Until after 3+ hour streams, I got nothing done. I decided to finally give it a day or two's rest, and came back on January 5th to give it another try. And only about 45 minutes into the stream, I finally got past that wretched 57 wave again. And I just kept flying. I got past the awkward UFO and wave corridor right after. I got through the quick cube timings and made it to the ship at 70. Something super easy to fail at with nerves, but by some miracle, I got through it. Now all I had to do was a couple inputs to get to the wave, and then I died to one of the last inputs before I get to the wave. Right. Because flukes do not get to happen here. Yeah, a little depressing, but who cares? However, this shook my nerves beyond belief. And even though I really tried my hardest to start playing again, I literally could not bring myself to do it because I was just shaking too hard. So I gave in for the day, accepting my honestly amazing new best and just moving on to keep trying the next day. It was really settling in at that point how much of a fluke I had hit, and it was really exciting and also really scary because I was terrified of hitting a progress wall due to the recent progress fluke I had, but I guess only time would tell. So I started up stream number 10 just to see what would happen, and then like a gift from the heavens, this happened. Mind you, literally a day later. No, your eyes are not deceiving you. I got a new best of 83% out of literally nowhere on January 6th. Somehow fluking the hardest choke point in the whole entire level, and then stupidly dying to a really easy timing right after due to the fact that my heart rate was through the roof. Funny enough, in the middle of my run to 83, my internet apparently went out, cutting my reaction a little bit short than it normally would be because I realized that nobody on stream got to see what happened, and I immediately went to go remedy the issue. Once I got everything working for a bit, I talked to stream and let everyone know what happened, and also let them know that honestly, I was kinda done for the day because that got me so nervous I didn't think I was gonna be able to do anything else. However, along with achieving a new best, I achieved one more thing. Wrist issues! You heard that right, folks. The day after getting 83, January 7th, I got on to push myself further yet again, and only 20 so minutes into the stream, I started having some serious aches in my wrist, which had never ever happened to me before, and I could tell this was from playing way too much. But yet, I persisted, and honestly, I kind of played pretty well. I finally made it back to that 70% ship again. And I died at 74% again. But it's okay. I surely would do it again, and honestly, I proved that right. I got back there again, and I even made it past the first 74 jump, and died to the next one. That was 2 deaths already at 74% in one day. After that point in the stream, I didn't get anything done, so I ended stream, and I really wouldn't get anywhere for the next few days, at least. That is, until January 15th, around 12 a.m. I was on call with someone, and I decided I would play off stream, but this time, something was different. I just could not be stopped this time around. I couldn't stop playing well, I was suffering from success. But my nerves, oh my gosh, my nerves were catching up to me after not doing well for over a week. And God, did that show itself. I died at 68, then 66, and then 76 twice. With that wave really showing just how hard it was. But finally, an hour or more into my session, this happened. A breakthrough. So there it was. 88% on Ethereal Artifice. Despite all the things that had came up and tried to stop me, I finally got somewhere again. At the point where my motivation was at its lowest, I finally had the spark to get things done again. And not only that, my consistency was honestly out of this world. I was barely ever dying to the first third of the level, and I knew it was just a matter of time until I got things done. But it wasn't going to be that late at night. It was already approaching 2 or 3 a.m., so I decided to go to bed. But when I woke up that day, I knew. I knew that was the day. I knew it was my time. So, I started upstream, and just 5 or so minutes in, I already got an amazing run of 68 or more. I can't quite remember the exact details. But when I was streaming, something was wrong. Things were kind of laggy on my end, due to my PC not being very, well-versed for the streaming part of things. And it was really throwing my consistency for a loop, and of course, I really couldn't play for super-duper long periods of time due to my still constant wrist pain. So I decided to not stream for the day to avoid lag, and I would just play while recording. and I said I would start up stream again if I managed to get it done. So I ended stream and started playing right away. And I guess that was all I needed. 5 minutes in, 68. 5 more minutes in, another 60 run. 20 minutes in, I got to the 76 wave again. And then another 5 minutes later, yet another 76. But that was it. This was my time. And on January 5th, around 8:30 p.m., I gave Ethereal Artifice one final push. Hope you all enjoy. Wow. Just wow is all I can say. What a journey this was for me. Genuinely such raw feelings at the end that overflowed instantly and exploded out. As much as I wanted to stay a little bit calmer, this was worth the huge reaction. Over 2.5 weeks in the making, Ethereal Artifice was complete. I don't really have much to say here, except to thank everyone again for their patience and sticking with me throughout the journey. This was a really hard one, but nothing I couldn't handle. And I think that's all I have to say for this one, guys. I'll see y'all in the next one, which hopefully won't take as long this time, and thanks for watching, and once again, stay chill.